All right, good morning, everyone. All right, so 6 games last night. We had a couple teams that had the night off. Mississippi and Baton Rouge. Just highlighting these games. Right, so Carolina and Port Huron. These guys don't believe in playing 5-on-5, apparently. Awful lot of penalty minutes in both games this weekend. But anyway, we had a return of favor, so to speak, as Port Huron wins the back end of the 2 games. It's a 3-2 shootout win. Very unusual shootout. We'll talk about that for just a second. Anyway, crowd 1236 on hand. And Carolina got off to a great start. 2 quick goals on Valtteri Nuusiainen. But then Nuusiainen settled right in. That was really the story of the game. Is he ended up turning away 45 shots. Mario Cavalieri played well, 32 saves, 34 opportunities. Isaiah Paris becomes the first goal scorer for the Port Huron Prowlers. And we go to the overtime. Nothing's resolved. So we go to the shootout. And yeah, so here's a call out to Kevin Mallon, Steve Gowdy, Braden Brettons, and Jamie West. Read the rule book. All right, so for some reason, it's signaled by the officiating crew that this is a 5-round shootout. I'm sorry, that was done away with like 3 years ago. If you read, Rule 84, page 142 in the rule book, 3 shooters. If then there is no resolution, then you go to a 4th, 5th, 6th round, whatever. But second round, Austin Federley scores. And follow up, I forgot who it was that had the third shot for Carolina, but the puck was stopped. That's the end of the game. You don't need to go to a 4th and 5th round. I don't understand that. Very weird. But anyway, so both teams now 1-1 on the year. Well, technically Carolina is 1-0-1 because they got a point for last night's game. So there you go. Okay, on to a more traditional game, although this game was just a barrage of shots. Both games this weekend, Ricardo Gonzalez faced a myriad of shots from the Danbury Hat-Tricks and kept the Motor City Rockers in it, kept them competitive, gave them one win, gave them a chance to win last night, but it just not enough offense there. Danbury wins 6-2 on 62 shots on goal. Shots were 27-5 in that first period. There's another goalie we'll talk about later. Didn't face 27 shots all night. 47-22 after 2 periods. Anyway, Vadim Frolov, he got the game-winning goal at the 12:53 mark of the second period. And both Motor City and Danbury split the 2 games. Johnny Ruiz did play after getting hurt late in the Friday night contest. So that was good to see, and had a couple points late in the game. Alexander Gamzatov, 2 goals and 1 assist last night, so he's got 4 goals in 2 games. Incredible. Ricardo Gonzalez goes 56 of 62 in saves, and Connor McCollum gets himself a win, 28 saves on 30 shots. So shot volume, incredible. All right, next game, the Columbus River Dragons, they hold on. I tell you what, Monroe, great defensive scheme. After the opening night blowout against Athens, the defense has really settled in, and they don't give you a lot of opportunities. Unfortunately, they're just not putting the puck in the net. 4 games played, and they've scored a grand total of what, 2, 4, 5 goals. So, um, great crowd on hand, 4487. Yeah, so Matt Pedzian, he ended up with the win for the River Dragons. Game-winning goal was Alex Sturgeon, scored at 7:32 of the third period. Sean Kuhn, boy, he got a workout this last weekend, but yeah, he was good. He was solid. It's just, again, Monroe's just not converting their offensive chances. So, yeah, Columbus now 2-0, and Monroe still looking for that first win, 0-3-1 through the first 4 games. All right, so yeah, but better days are coming, I think, for Monroe. All right, and now as far as the games that I was tuned into, yeah, first game, it was a shutout, and it's amazing. Last year, I believe we had a grand total of, I think it was 9 shutouts for the whole year. And this year, in the last 2 days, we've had a total of 3 now. So goaltenders, man, they're the big story. Of course, yeah, as you saw, it was a low-scoring affair in Monroe. So both Kuhn and Petizian, yeah, Petizian, excuse me, played very well. Okay, so with the Hudson Valley Venom and the Binghamton Black Bears, this was the back end of a home and home. And whereas Friday night there was no defense whatsoever, this game had quite the different outcome. And yeah, Binghamton turned up the defense and pitches a shutout against the Venom. Now, to be fair, the Venom were without Dustin Jasso, which of course is their biggest offensive weapon, serving a 1-game suspension. But nonetheless, scoring started at 12:21 of the first. It's Austin Thompson, um, 4th goal of the last 2 games. So shots pretty even in the first period, 13-10 in the first period. John Moriarty, looking comfortable in the first period. Connor McAnanima, he was looking to rebound after a not so stellar performance last week. We go to the second period, and Tyson Kirkby scores just 147 in close, and that really kind of seemed to just set off a chain reaction, where Binghamton was just getting great opportunities, and Hudson Valley just had no response. 2:23, it's Caden Henry getting his first goal of the year, first goal of his professional career. And then at 5:51 on the power play, it's Blake Tosto. He scores. So, yeah, just like that, just within 4 minutes, it becomes a 4-0 game. Tempers start to flare. That goes down. And, yeah, the only number that Hudson Valley produced last night was penalty minutes. 3 ejections during the game. We had Austin Pickford, Jesse Swanson, and Mark Posar. Mark Posar was in a different incident, but as far as Swanson goes, he's going to be facing a long suspension at the end of the second period. Everybody gathers behind the goal, starts to tangle, and Swanson just goes nuts, punches an official. So yeah, in the end, he got a game misconduct for headbutt, game misconduct for physical abuse of officials, and an aggressor penalty. So yeah, we're expecting a long suspension for Swanson, and it's a shame because he's a talented guy, and he just seems to be more concerned with the fisticuffs. My take. Gavin Yates did get a game misconduct for third man in for the Black Bears. Austin Pickford also got an aggressor penalty, so I would assume that he's probably going to be receiving a 1-game suspension as well. So, not good. It was not a good look. Third period, Kyle Stefan, he puts the final nail in the coffin. 5:23 in the third period. He scores on the power play. And there you go. It's a 5-0 shutout. Um, Hudson Valley was only able to generate 23 shots on goal in the game, as Binghamton found their defensive mojo. Um, they shot the puck 50 times at Moriarty, who, for the most part, I think handled himself well. It's when you face 50 shots, chances are a couple are going to get past you. So, the team has to really rebuild, and it didn't help that in the third period that two of his defensemen were gone. So Kirkby had a goal and an assist for the game. Don Oliveri, he had 2 assists, and Connor McAnanima, pitches the no-no. 23 saves and 23 opportunities. Moriarty, 45 saves. All right, as we go to Watertown, Dashers looking for the first win. Not yet, but I think it's coming. I saw flashes of excellent play from them last night. They just got to kind of string it all together. So Watertown wins this one 7-4. A lot of shots on goaltender Oscar Wahlgren, who the defensive system has to build up. He did what he could, but also Dashers did get 4 goals past Brodkin on just 21 shots, and there were pretty good quality opportunities in the slot area. The Dashers are really good in the high slot with generating offensive chances. Let's see if we can kind of expand that. But anyway, in the game, the Watertown Wolves started off the scoring, 7:34. It's a power play goal by Carter Thornton. Things rolling around pretty good. Kyle Heitzner chips in at 13:47 to make it a 2-0 lead for the Watertown Wolves. That's the way the first period ended. The outshot the Dashers 15-7. I almost wanted to say Danville. Well, that's where they're from, but you know the whole story there. All right. Second period, though. Dashers storm back. First, it's a goal by Jensen Bear. 4:36. And at 7:08, Lester Brown gets the first of 2 on the night. Lester's chipping in. As he shot it, the puck came, or the net came off the moorings, but the puck had already been shot. So it was not an issue of goal, no goal. It really wasn't. It was a good goal, even though the net was off its moorings. That was in the process of the shot. So 2-2 at this point. Watertown storms back, rattles off 5 goals in a row, starting off with Ludlow Harris Jr., who had himself a night. On the power play, scores a 10-16, At 14-17, Trevor Newman would pitch in off of deflection. 15:41, it's Truett Blacksmith. After Mercurio had been stopped on a breakaway, Blacksmith picked up the rebound and scored. And now things are really rolling. It's 5-2 at this point. But wait, we're not done. In the third period at 7:46, Kyle Heitzner scores on the power play. By the way, Watertown out shooting Dashers 24-6 in that second period. So just like Danbury, a lot of shots in one period. So Heitzner makes it 6-2, and then Dustin Perelia, he scores at 9:25. But the Dashers said, you know what, we're not done. We're not ready to fold up and quit. And good on them for that. There was no giving up, and that was good to see. 12:42. It's Justin Browson off of a draw, rifles a puck home past Borodkin, and then just a little over a minute later, 13:48, it's Brown scoring again. So the Dashers made things interesting. And so we end up with a 7-4 final shots 49-21. Uh, and Brodkin gets the win with 17 saves. Walgren, for his part, stops 42. Um, so again, once the defensive system gets in place for the Dashers, I think they'll be all right. All right, so Watertown sitting in first place at 3-1, and so we'll see what happens going forward. All right, final game. The Athens ECHL All Stars defeat the Blue Ridge Bobcats 10-2, and yeah, unfortunately, this was a massacre. Unfortunately, and yeah, you kind of hate to see things devolve that quickly. The game started off. First part of the game was pretty competitive. Even though Athens jumped out to a 3-0 lead, Blue Ridge fought back, and then from there on out, it was just all lopsided. Riley Robertson opens the scoring, his first goal of the year at 4:23 for the Rock Lobsters. At 6:08, it's Malik Johnson chipping in. At 11:54, who else? Kason Galan. It's a game-winning goal. It's a sixth goal in 4 games. So yeah, watch out for Galan. Uh, Incredible. All right, Tristan Sim gets the Bobcats on the board at 17:10 of the first period, and there we go. So the shots at the end of the first were only 10-6, but Athens converted on 3 of their 10 chances. We get to the second period, and Blue Ridge would outshoot Athens, but yeah, Athens kept finding a way of getting the puck in the net. First, though, Igor Ramanow, he scores to get the Bobcats within 1. The crowd's getting excited, the crowd's getting noisy, and then everything kind of fell apart. 5:39, it's Joe Colatarsi. He scores on the shorthanded opportunity. And from there on out, it just snowballed. We had Orca Weisblatt scoring. There was a question about whether the whistle may have sounded before the puck crossed the line, but they reviewed it, they looked at it, and said, no, it's a good goal. That happened at 14:06. At 18:13, it's Philippe Virgili. He scores. Now it's 6-2. And basically, Blue Ridge is just looking for something positive to hang their hat on. So a minute 45 into the excuse me, a minute 25 into the third period, they change goalies. Connor Green, who started the game, he sits, and in comes Hunter Verostic. Doesn't fare any better. So we had Carrot Milan scoring at 2:03, Weisblatt again at 3:24, and Brandon McCard at 5:52. So 3 minutes 50 seconds, 3 goals. Meanwhile, Jared Stahel, he gets his first actual start. I know he got credited with starts in Monroe the week before, but this was his first actual start, and he looked good. Yeah, he looked pretty solid. So Garrett Milan, he ends up scoring at 15:07 to close out the scoring. It's 10-2. Athens improves to 4-0. One of those wins is an overtime win, so they have 11 points. Blue Ridge 0-2. After a very promising game on Saturday just didn't go their way. For the Rock Lobsters, Orca Weisblatt, 2 goals and 3 assists. Quite a night. Garrett Milan had 2 goals, 2 assists. Philippe Virgili, a goal and 3 assists. And meanwhile, Stahel in goal stops 25 of 27 and gets his first win on the year. For the Bobcats, of course, the goal scorers were Tristan Sim and Igor Ramanow. Connor Green went 14 for 20 in his 41 minutes and 25 seconds played, while Verostic went 11 for 15. So, yep. Bobcats looking for their first win still, but the season's young. So there we go. There is the wrap up of the games last night. Today, this afternoon, there is one game, Monroe and Baton Rouge. We'll cover that tomorrow, as well as we're going to have stars and standings. And I want to mention this, there's going to be a very important news announcement that I'm going to be making at the end of the video. So please make sure you tune in because it's news of a delicate nature, but um, I want to let you guys know this. It's been known for quite some time by some people as far as the situation. Tune in tomorrow. I don't want to get into it now because I'm already 21 minutes in. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. All right. So make sure you're hitting like and subscribe, all that good jazz. Comment down below what you think about your team, how they performed this last weekend. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow on YouTube for stars and standings. Plus, like I said, special news announcement. Plus, we will review the game between the Moccasins and the Zydeco. All right, I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Thanks for tuning in.